Hi, parents. Welcome to our supercalifragilisticexpialidocious family night. We are glad that you can join us. Upcoming on October 28th is our idiom dress up day, and we will talk about that more at the end of our video. Welcome to our first ever Vexing Vocabulary Adventure. Adventures for tonight are to discover the goodies that were sent home for this virtual parent night, read a vexing vocabulary adventure with a teacher, learn and play a fun activity with family members. K3 students will learn more about our Read to Achieve guidelines. All families will view our school's annual public meeting and discover what it means to be a Title I school. Take a survey for a chance to win a drawing or raffle. So, are you ready for these extravagant events? Click next. Vocabulary escapades with a book. Did you know that the word escapades just means adventures? In your family night take home bag, you will find materials for tonight. You will need the game materials after we read this book, and your child picked out a book that you can read on a different night. We are going to read a book focused on words and phrases with multiple meanings. The title is Amelia Bedelia Goes Camping. Watch while I read, discuss, and help you think about some of the words in this book.
Hi friends! So we have been learning about how to find the meaning of unknown words or phrases in a text. Well, today we're going to read a story and it's called Amelia Bedelia Goes Camping. And we're going to come across a few words and a few phrases in our text and I'm going to see if you can help me figure out what they mean. Alright, so Amelia Bedelia Goes Camping. Hurry up, Amelia Bedelia, called Mr. Rogers. I'm coming, said Amelia Bedelia. Did we get everything? asked Mr. Rogers. I would say so, said Amelia Bedelia. Good, said Mr. Rogers. It's time to hit the road. Hit the road? asked Amelia Bedelia. All right. She picked up a stick, and Amelia Bedelia hit the road. Now, when you hear the phrase hit the road, do you think that really means for someone to pick something up and hit the road? No. When someone says hit the road, that means let's get going. All right, let's keep reading. Stop that, shouted Mr. Rogers. Get into the car. Amelia Bedelia got into the car. I'm so excited, she said. I've never been camping. You will have fun, said Mr. Rogers. They rode for a long time. Finally, Mr. Rogers stopped the car. Wake up, Amelia Bedelia, said Mr. Rogers. This is it. Amelia Bedelia looked all around. But where is the camp? She asked. The camp is in the car, said Mr. Rogers. In the car, said Amelia Bedelia. We're going to camp in the car? The things we need to make the camp are in the car, said Mr. Rogers. Make the camp, said Amelia Bedelia. We have to make the camp? Okay, when they say make the camp, that means they're going to set it up. Just forget it, said Mr. Rogers. I'll put the tent here. We can pitch it later. All right, said Amelia Bedelia. Now, when they use the word pitch, if we came across that word and we don't know what it means, okay, we can read the words around it to help us figure out what it means. Okay, and pitch in this case means to set up. Now let's have some fun, said Mr. Rogers. Let's catch some fish. I've never caught fish, said Amelia Bedelia. Is it like catching a ball? Mr. Rogers laughed. It's more fun, he said. I will show you how. Did you bring any cookies? asked Mr. Rogers. Yes, said Amelia Bedelia. I made up a new kind. Amelia Bedelia got the cookies. Chocolate, said Mr. Rogers. My favorite. He took a bite. They are so crunchy. Now you might be thinking, what does the word crunchy mean? Well, if something is crunchy, that means it's hard to chew. That's the Potato chips, said Amelia Bedelia. I do love potato chips. I put in a whole bag. I call them chocolate chip cookies. Mr. and Mrs. Rogers looked at each other. Call them what you like, said Mr. Rogers. Just make them often. Bring them along and follow me, said Mr. Rogers. Let's find a good fishing spot. Now, if it says just make them often, you might be thinking, well, what does the word often mean? Well, often means to do something a lot, okay, or to do something every day. They walked along the bank. After a bit, Mr. Rogers stopped. He looked at the water. This looks good, he said. Amelia Bedelia stopped. I see one. I see a fish, she said. I'll catch it. Wait, said Mr. Rogers. But Mr. Rogers was too late. Amelia Bedelia was in the water. Now when it says I'll catch it, it's talking about how she's trying to catch the fish. Here, fishy, she called. Then she grabbed the fish. I caught it, she yelled. What a big one, said Mr. Rogers. Amelia Bedelia looked at the fish. The fish looked at Amelia Bedelia. All right, said Amelia Bedelia. Away you go. The fish swam away. Amelia Bedelia, yelled Mr. Rogers, why did you do that? Amelia Bedelia looked surprised. Why not? She asked. You just said to catch a fish. I did that. Oh, go away, said Mr. Rogers. Thank you, said Amelia Bedelia. I am wet. I do need to change. Okay. Now, when it says surprised, that might be a word that you might not know what it means. If someone is surprised, you can kind of tell by the picture that her face is surprised. So if someone's surprised, it means that they're shocked. Keep reading. Amelia Bedelia started to leave. Oh, Amelia Bedelia, said Mr. Rogers, please start a fire in the grill. Use pine cones to start it, said Mr. Rogers, and put on some coffee. All right, said Amelia Bedelia. Now you might be thinking, what are pine cones? Well, pine cones grow on pine trees. If you've ever seen pine cones outside on the ground, it's because they fell off of a pine cone tree. Amelia Bedelia walked to the car. She changed into dry clothes. Now, said Amelia Bedelia, I'll surprise Mr. Rogers. I'll pitch that tent. She walked over to the tent. Shoot, said Amelia Bedelia, I can't even lift it. Need some help? Said someone. Amelia Bedelia turned around. Who are you? She asked. I'm Harry, said one boy. I'm Mike, said the other boy. I'm Amelia Bedelia, said Amelia Bedelia. Okay, so let's come back to page 28. Okay, when it says, I'll pitch that tent, what Mr. Rogers really wanted her to do was he wanted her to set it up. So when they say pitch, they mean set it up. Amelia Bedelia, said Harry, we've heard about you. You have, said Amelia Bedelia, that's nice. Now will you help me pitch this tent? Where do you want to pitch it? Asked Mike. The big thing is to pitch it, said Amelia Bedelia. It can come down where it wants to. The boys grinned at each other. So when we read the sentence, the boys grinned at each other, you might be thinking, what does the word grin mean? Well, we can kind of tell by looking at the picture. What are they doing? They are smiling. So if someone is grinning or they grin, that means that they are kind of doing a little half smile. Okay, let's do it, said Harry. They all caught a hold of the tent. They picked it up, and they pitched that tent. Oh no, do you think that's what Mr. Rogers meant when he said pitch the tent, was to throw it? No. Hooray, said Amelia Bedelia, we did it. Maybe we should pitch it again, said Mike. Why, said Amelia Bedelia. It's in the bushes, said Harry. That's a good place for it, said Amelia Bedelia. It's out of the way. Hey, said Mike. Mom is calling us. Thank you for helping me, said Amelia Bedelia. She watched the boys go. I had better get that fire started, said Amelia Bedelia. She got some wood and pine cones. She put them in the grill. Live and learn, said Amelia Bedelia. I didn't know pine cones could start a fire. Okay, so you might be thinking, what does live and learn mean? What did she mean when she said the phrase live and learn? Well, sometimes when we're reading and we don't know what a word means or a phrase, we don't know what it means, we can read the words around it to help us figure out what it means. So after that sentence, it says, I didn't know pine cones could start a fire. So when it says live and learn, that means you find out things that you didn't know before. Amelia Bedelia sat down. She waited and waited, but the fire did not start. Suddenly, she jumped up. Okay, here's another word that we might not know. Here's the word suddenly. So if someone does something suddenly, it means they just do it right in the moment. The coffee, she said. I forgot to put on the coffee. She poured the coffee on the pine cones. Now it should start, she said. Do you think that's what Mr. Rogers meant when he said pour some coffee on for us? Do you think he meant pour it on the grill? No. Mr. and Mrs. Rogers walked up. Why isn't the fire burning? Asked Mr. Rogers. The pine cones haven't started it yet, said Amelia Bedelia. Did you try using a match? Asked Mr. Rogers. You didn't tell me to do that, said Amelia Bedelia. Never mind, I'll do it, said Mr. Rogers. You put on some coffee. I did, said Amelia Bedelia. Didn't I put on enough? But what did we say that she did? She took the coffee and she put it on the pine cones. That's not what he meant. Oh, go jump in the lake, said Mr. Rogers. Amelia Bedelia stamped her foot. I will not, she said. I have no more dry clothes. You might be thinking to yourself once again, what does this word mean? Well, this is the word stamped. If someone stamps their foot or stomps their foot, that means they pounded on the ground. Okay, she doesn't look too happy. All right, friends. I'm glad that you could read this story with me today and help me figure out what some of the words and phrases meant in our story.
When you read text with words and phrases like this, you can have conversations with family members about your thinking. So, are you ready for an invigorating activity? Click next. Vocabulary venture with a game. Did you know that the word venture just means activity? Now we are going to play a game focused on the book we just read. Let's play Connect 4 Vocabulary Edition. Get out your goodies for the game and let me share with you the directions and show you how the game works. 4 in a row directions vocabulary addition. Families get a game board and a leaf or chips in 2 different colors. Cut the leaves out into little square pieces. 2 players play the game. The spaces on the board are filled with words and phrases from the book that we just read. In order to cover up a space, players must tell what the word or phrase means. Players take turns telling what the words and phrases mean as they cover up the space. The first player to cover 4 spaces in a row of the same color wins.
Okay, you just read a story. Now it's time to play a game. It's called 4 in a Row Vocabulary Edition. So what you have to do first is find your game board. It looks like this. And then get your leaves and go ahead and cut them out into little squares just like that. And put them into 2 piles. You're going to have a gray pile and an orange pile. You also need a partner for this. So I have Miss Woolley here with me, and we are going to play together. So what you have to do is pick a circle and look at the vocabulary word that is in there, and you have to tell what that word means. And after you tell what it means, you have to cover up that circle. And whoever covers up before in a row of the same color wins. So we're going to demonstrate what that looks like. All right, Miss Woolley, do you want to go first? Okay. I am going to pick grin. So right here, grin. And grin means to smile real big. All right, let's see. It's my turn. I'm gray. I'm going to pick make the camp. That means to build a campsite or set up your tent. I'm going to start right here. Pine cones. Pine cones means the seed of a pine tree. Oh, and I see what Miss Woolley is doing. She's trying to get 4 in a row this way. And so if she were to keep going and I were to keep going, I might try to block her from making 4 in a row. So I hope you guys have fun playing this super fun vocabulary game and learning what different words mean.
Take time to play this game at home now with a family member. Did you know that you can buy board games from the store that also strengthen your vocabulary? Try finding these games. So, are you ready for additional information? Click next. If you do not have a kindergartner through 3rd grade student, you can skip this section and click next. Do you know what guidelines are? It means rules. Let's learn about the guidelines of the North Carolina Read to Achieve law for all kindergarten through 3rd grade students.
This recording is designed to help all parents and guardians of North Carolina public school students in kindergarten through 3rd grade understand the North Carolina Read to Achieve law. Throughout the presentation, you will see the translation of Spanish at the bottom of the screen. The goal of this legislation is for all students to become proficient readers by the end of 3rd grade. Read to Achieve outlines reading requirements for elementary students and describes what schools will be doing to assist children in reaching the proficiency goal. In every North Carolina kindergarten through 3rd grade class, a student's literacy development is measured regularly using M-Class Dibbles 8th edition. Dibbles 8th edition is an assessment tool for all K-3 students, and it enables teachers to automate scoring and receive instant targeted instructional recommendations. This assessment helps teachers understand what instruction your child needs. By state law, if your child is reading below grade level or struggling with reading, the school must inform you of exactly what type of reading difficulty your child is having and what instructions or interventions are being used to help advance his or her skills. All parents and guardians should receive a Read to Achieve parent notification letter each month. The goal of the state is to ensure that every student read at or above grade level by the end of 3rd grade and continue to progress in reading proficiency so that he or she can read, comprehend, integrate, and apply complex text needed for secondary education and career success. By the end of 3rd grade, students are expected to be an independent reader, which means that they can read and understand words, sentences, and paragraphs, and answer comprehension questions about their reading. At the beginning of 3rd grade, all students will take the BOG for reading. This is the beginning of grade test. Parents will receive the results of these tests. If students receive a proficiency level on the BOG, they have met the requirements for the Read to Achieve law. All students must still take the EOG in each spring. 3rd grade students are tested in reading and math. Their scores fall into one of 5 proficiency levels ranging from level 1, which is the lowest, to level 5, which is the highest. The Read to Achieve law requires third graders who score at level 1 or 2 in reading on the third grade end of grade test to be retained and not promoted to fourth grade. However, students can receive a good cause exemption by showing proficiency on a Read to Achieve test, which is given after the EOG, a local alternative assessment approved by the State Board of Education, or through a completed reading portfolio. There are a few additional exemptions. Students who do not show proficiency after third grade or who do not qualify for a good cause exemption are encouraged to attend reading camp. This camp will be provided by the local school district and will be of no cost to you. The reading camps will offer at least 72 hours of instruction. Students are encouraged to attend reading camps for extra support toward reading proficiency. More information about reading camp will be shared later in the year. If a student is still not proficient at the end of the summer, a decision is made by the principal and teachers most familiar with the student about the placement for the following year. Why is the law being implemented? This law focuses on early identification and early intervention for students who are struggling with reading skill development and comprehension. In order to reduce the need for high remedial classes in middle and high schools, to increase the graduation rate, and to have all students college and career ready at graduation, the state needs to be proactive in its approach to offer multiple and intensive opportunities for struggling readers at an early age. For more information, you may contact your child's school or visit the website below, https://ncdpi.instructure.com/courses/1524.
Moving right along now, click Next. Do you know what it means to acquire knowledge? It means to learn. Let's learn about what it means to be a Title I school. You can watch the video below in English or Spanish.
Hello, and welcome to the Title I Annual Public Meeting. What is Title I? Title I is the largest single federal funding source for education. It is intended to help ensure that all children have the opportunity to obtain a high-quality education and reach proficiency on challenging state academic content and performance standards. Title I began with the passage of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, or ESEA, of 1965, which provided federal funding for high-poverty schools to help students who were behind academically and at risk of falling behind. Current federal guidance governing the use of Title I funds is provided by the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, which was passed in December of 2015. Eligibility and expenditures. In the Randolph County school system, elementary schools with free and reduced lunch percentages of 50 or more are eligible to receive the Title I funding. Title I funds are used to upgrade the operation of the entire school. Title I funds are used to fund additional teachers to reduce class size, fund tutors, fund additional reading specialists, purchase materials, supplies, and equipment, provide professional development for teachers and staff, provide parent and family engagement events. Current plans for utilizing this year's 2021 Title I funds include the continuation of similar types of expenditures at the school level. The following schools are Title I schools within our school district. What are the components of Title I? All Title I schools must complete an annual comprehensive needs assessment that drives the aspects of the school's operations. school reform strategies must be implemented to address identified needs. There must be high quality and ongoing professional development for staff. Parent and family engagement is a critical and integral part of the day-to-day operations in a Title I school. And strategies must be in place to assist in the transitions between academic grade levels. Teachers are actively involved in the use of assessments, and instructional decisions are driven by data analysis. Title I schools must conduct an annual review of the effectiveness of the school-wide program, and Title I schools must coordinate and integrate resources and services from federal, state, and local sources. Parent involvement in our Title I schools. As mentioned, every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, has a requirement that describes the rights of parents to be involved in their child's school and requires that programs, activities, and procedures shall be planned and implemented with meaningful consultation with parents of participating children. Federal law mandates that Title I schools include parents in the school improvement process and on the school improvement team. Our district, the Randolph County School System has parent involvement policies, which have been adopted. The Title I Parent and Family Engagement Policy, or Policy Code 1320-3560, drives the engagement that we have in a Title I school. In addition, our school district has the Parent Involvement Policy Code 1310-4002. Both can be accessed on the district website by clicking on the Board of Education link and conducting a search with these policy number codes. Parent and family engagement in the Title I schools provides multiple informational parent and family engagement events, including an annual public meeting, which is this presentation here, that are designed to assist in creating and fostering relationships between the home and the school in order to best meet the needs of every child. Each spring, Title I school surveys parents to determine how to continue to meet the needs of the students and families in the communities they serve. And information from the survey is examined and discussed by the school improvement team at each school. We also have a student school parent compact. ESSA affirms that student academic achievement is a shared responsibility between the school and home. The compact outlines how parents, school staff, and students will share the responsibility for improved student academic achievement throughout the school year. We ask that you sign and return this compact if you have not done so. We ask that you share updated information if your phone number or email changes. We appreciate your time this evening. If you have questions or comments, please ask your school administrator. Thank you for your continued support of the Randolph County School System.
So are you ready to proceed? That means keep going. Click next. Farewell. Did you know that that's a synonym for goodbye? Thank you for attending our Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Family Night. On Thursday, October 28th, please join us for Idiom Dress-Up Day. Idioms are sayings like under the weather, pulling someone's leg, eyes in the back of your head. We hope you enjoyed our vexing vocabulary adventures. Please take a moment to fill out our survey on the form below to be entered to win a prize.